Hey barbecue fans, welcome to a cold evening on the Frankenboo Ranch. Okay, so here at the ranch, we're always trying to sit around, come up with new recipes, up our game a little bit. So the other night we were sitting around enjoying a tasty old fashioned, and I came up with the idea of a she brisket soup instead of a she crab soup. Now, if you guys know, she crab soup is a really rich cream-based soup with a seafood stock, peppers, or I'm not sorry, not peppers, onions, garlic, salt, and then the crab goes in it. So we're going to switch this up a little bit tonight. I'm going to use, instead of a seafood stock, I'm going to use a beef stock. We're going to continue with the cream, so it's going to be a cream-based soup with sauteed onions. There's supposed to be celery in it. I don't like celery, so I'm cutting the celery out. Garlic, and some seasonings, and then sherry to top it off with. So let's just jump right in, and also our brisket, which is keeping warm in the cooker right now. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up and just get rolling here. All right, so I've got my little, there we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna melt the butter. I've got 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 onion, 3 cloves of garlic, 3 tablespoons of flour, a little bit of salt, some paprika, and seasoning. I'm using Dizzy Pig tonight because normally you're going to use, in a she crab soup, you're going to use something like Old Bay, but Old Bay is not going to blend well with the flavors of the brisket. That's why we're changing this up. So this is a completely experimental recipe. I think it's going to be a home run. So let's go ahead. What we're going to do here is we're going to melt our butter. To get this melting, we're going to put our onions, and we're going to saute these onions and make them nice and soft. These over here. All right. I'm going to get this rolling here. So this is going to take about 3 to 4 minutes. And in a couple minutes here, I'm going to put the garlic in because we don't want to burn the garlic. We want the flavor of the garlic. And if you think about it, when you're cooking your brisket, a lot of your seasonings have these exact same things in them. They've got onion powder, they've got garlic, they've got salt. They've got a little bit, some of them have a little bit of paprika. So all we're doing is we're bringing all these flavors together, we're adding some brisket to it, and we're making it into a soup, which I think is going to be fantastic. All right, so we're rolling along here. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to get these things sauteing. I'm not going to sit here and make you guys sit and wait for 6 minutes while this sautés. So we're going to saute these up. As soon as the onions and peppers are sauteed up, I'm going to put the garlic in it. We're going to saute that. And then we'll be right back to finish the soup off. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay guys, so our onions are sauteed. I put the garlic in here. They're sauteed as well. You can see they're starting to get a little translucent. Just a basic onion saute with garlic. Now I'm going to take my flour. I'm going to put my flour in there. I'm going to put my salt in. And I'm going to add about ½ teaspoon just barbecue powder, barbecue seasoning, just a little bit to flavor it up and accent the whole mess we're making here. All right, so we're gonna bring this in, and if you've never made a roux, what we're basically doing here is we're making a roux. So you want to cook it until it starts to get really thick, and then that's when we're gonna add the beef stock over here and the cream. You want to cook the flour, so you'll see that a lot in recipes where they say cook the flour. What they mean by cooking the flour is just stir it around the heat for a little bit, and it will turn brown, like a little brownish. You can see it's kind of a little brownish now. That's the color we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and add my beef stock. Add my beef stock in there. Whew, let's not spill it. And I'm going to add my cream. And just like that, we got a beautiful brown cream sauce, which is what I was hoping for. All right, so we're going to let this simmer. I'm going to crank that up. And we're going to add our sherry as well. And what this is going to do, as it cooks and heats, it's going to get thick. So, Maverick and Goose, go play. Get out of here. Every time we come out here to cook, the puppies are going crazy because they just want to eat. All right, so we're going to have to let this simmer for some time, probably 10 minutes to get it nice and thick. We want to bring it to a boil. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let this thing boil, or we're going to bring it to a boil and then let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to add the brisket and we're going to finish this dish off. So we'll be right back in a few. Okay guys, so our soup has been simmering for about 10 to 15 minutes. I actually added some more roux to it because I like a thicker soup. Now this looks more like a clam chowder thickness consistency. If you travel throughout the Northeast, you'll find that anywhere you find a good she crab soup, it could be thicker, it could be thinner. This comes up to, personal preference at this point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my whisk out and I'm going to grab our brisket. This is now nice and hot. So what we're going to do is make a mess is what we're going to do. It's all good. No problemo. We are going to add, see how hot that is. That's pretty hot. We're going to add our brisket to the soup. So you want about 90% of your brisket. There we go. And we're going to mix this up. So we got a nice hearty soup. Look at the brisket floating in it. That's really nice. Let me see if I can clean up my spoon here real quick since we had a little fall over we weren't expecting. No big deal. Okay. Now, let's move this out of the way. We're going to do final assembly here. Okay. So, like I said, on the thickness, it's totally a preference. But I like the big chunks of brisket. You can see the nice chunky brisket. It's going to make it a nice hearty soup. And you can see this is real simple. The longest part of this entire recipe is just simmering it and getting it to the correct thickness. So let's add our soup to our bowl as we have more animals coming to figure out what they get to eat tonight, which is absolutely nothing. One of these days we're going to be cooking duck over here and there's going to be ones that are walking over there right now. All right, so there we go. So then we're going to take our brisket and we're going to add a little topper of brisket because this is what you're going to find if you get she crab soup. Half of the yumminess of it is the crab that they put on top. So we're just going to put a brisket floater just like that. I bet you never thought you'd hear me say that. And then we're going to give it a little sprinkle of barbecue sauce and a little sprinkle of paprika, just for some color and a little bit of added flavor. And we're going to put a floater of sherry on top. The floater of sherry we're just going to do right into the spoon. And this is all subjective, whatever you guys like, more or less. Play with it, have fun with it. You guys are really going to enjoy this. So there we have it, guys. A beautiful crock of the first ever she brisket soup. And it's actually quite amazing. The flavors of this thing are just really coming through. The sherry really mixes well with the actual brisket itself. And the beef stock really substitutes for the seafood stock that a traditional she crab soup has in it. So I highly recommend this. If you guys have leftover barbecue, you can use brisket or you can use pork. I prefer brisket. There you go, guys. Brand new recipe. Until next time, keep on smoking it.